Section 1.2, Problem 8. So you're given some graphs, so let's take a look at the first one. And you know that this graph is a parabola, and it happens to go through a certain point, 4, 2. Now, while that's the only point that's listed, notice that the bottom of the graph goes through 3. So there's actually a second point that it goes through, which is 3, 0. Now, usually 2 points are not enough to allow you to deduce what the parabola is, but the second point, 3, 0, is special. It's not just anywhere on the parabola, it happens to be at the lowest point. And moreover, it's also where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So that means the solution to the quadratic formula is also 3. Now, the quadratic function is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Our goal is to find a, b, and c for this case. To be able to find these, let's first list the quadratic function, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now looking at our case, what is this going to be? Well, the solution has to be 3 because our picture tells us that. That's the only place. But now if you look at the quadratic formula, there's a plus or minus there, which means in general, you're going to get 2 different solutions. So the only way that both of those solutions are going to be 3 is if the square root of b squared minus 4ac is 0. Because that way, plus or minus 0, well, there's no difference. It's the same number. But if b squared minus 4ac is 0, what does that mean? That means negative b over 2a is equal to 3. Why is this important? Well, this is important because now we can express b in terms of a. So b is equal to negative 6a. So our guess now simplifies to ax squared minus 6ax plus c. So there's 2 unknowns, a and c, and we can get 2 equations out of this. And let's see how we can do that. So the first thing is the following. So 3, 0 means that 0 is equal to a times 3 squared minus 6a times 3 plus c. 4, 2 means that 2 is equal to a times 4 squared minus 6a times 4 plus c. Now let's look at the first equation. So rewriting this is 0 is equal to 9a minus 18a plus c, or equivalently 0 is equal to negative 9a plus c, or 9a is equal to c. The second equation says that 2 is equal to 16a minus 24a plus c, or equivalently, 2 is equal to negative 8a plus c, or 8a is equal to c minus 2. So we have these two equations now. And now we can solve for a and c. So subtracting the first equation with the second equation, what do we get? We get a, so 9a minus 8a is equal to c minus c minus 2. But of course, this just means that a is equal to 2. So now that we have what a is, we can figure out what everything else is. Because recall, b is negative 6 times a, so b is negative 12. And then c, well, we could just plug it into any of the equations that we have. For example, c is equal to 9 times a, so c is equal to 18. And so there you go. We have the answer. So y is equal to 2x squared minus 12x plus 18. Now let's look at the second graph. In the second graph, we're given 3 points, but none of them are as special as the ones that we deduced before. But in any case, with 3 points, we ought to be able to figure out the quadratic formula because there are 3 unknowns to figure out the quadratic equation. So the points are negative 2, 2, 0, comma 1, and 1, comma negative 2.5. So once again, our guess is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. And now our goal is to find a, b, and c. So we have 3 points. That gives us 3 equations. So if negative 2 comma 2 lies on this graph, what does that mean? That means 2 is equal to a times negative 2 squared plus b times negative 2 plus c. Simplifying this, we get 2 is equal to 4a minus 2b plus c. The second equation, 0, comma 1. Well, this means that 1 is equal to a times 0 squared plus b times 0 plus c. This is a very useful equation because this immediately tells us what c is, right? C is just equal to 1. And then finally, negative 2.5 is equal to a times 1 squared, so that's just a, plus b times 1, so that's just b, plus c. Now the first thing we're going to do with these equations is plug in the c equals 1 portion, because that's crucial. C equals 1. So the first equation now can be simplified to 2 is equal to 4a minus 2b plus 1. And then this equation can be simplified to negative 2.5 is equal to a plus b plus 1. How do we use this? Well, we can multiply this second equation by 2. So that it becomes negative 5 is equal to 2a plus 2b plus 2. Why do we want to do this? Because now we can add these two equations together, and the b's will cancel, because you got a negative 2b on the first equation, and then you got a positive 2b in the other equation. So adding them gives us what? It gives us negative 3, right? That's 2 plus negative 5 is equal to 6a plus 3. So that means a is equal to negative 1. And then finally, we need to figure out what b is. So recall, we have this equation. We now know what a is. It's negative 1. So that means 2 is equal to 4 times negative 1 minus 2b plus 1. This implies that 2 is equal to negative 4 plus 1 minus 2b. And we can solve for this. So two plus 4 minus 1 is equal to negative 2b. And so b is equal to negative 2.5. And we have solved this. So that means the end result is the following. Y is equal to negative x squared minus 2.5x plus 1.